Welcome to The Craze in 10 or Less. This is the show where I give it to you in 10 minutes or under, and if I don't, these are the breaks. Anyway, you broke your back on a concept that you think is fire. You launch it on Kickstarter. You got 150 people or so to back it. You exceed your goal. You're feeling good. You submit it to a publisher and you get rejected. Now what? That's the topic of the day. I'm Seb the Crazy Man Vera. Stop acting up. Let's get it. All right. So, why this topic? I'll tell you why. Because it is the norm. It is what's normal in what we do. You know, I know. If I counted the rejection letters, I'm just saying, I got more rejection letters than I got hair. And I have a lot of hair. So, let's talk about that. So, I've seen a lot of chatter on social media where cats, they have a successful run on Kickstarter, but they still can't get published. You know, they have people who will back their campaigns, but they still can't get published. And they talk about the rejection letters and they don't understand what's going on. I'll tell you what's going on. If you're creating for you, doesn't mean that the publisher thinks it's for them or their audience. You're like, Sam, you're talking in riddles. Riddle me this. Here it is. If you go to Image Comics website, there's a look, there's a palette, there's a theme. You go to Boom Studios, there's a look, there's a palette, there's a theme. Marvel has a theme. DC Comics has a theme, right? And then everybody in between are either trying to copy and paste what the big boys are doing to capitalize, or what they are doing just doesn't resonate with the bigger boys, right? So, what do you do? How do you handle that? Number one, if you're really trying to get published, then you need to create for the publisher. You need to. There's two sides to this. You're like, yo, Sam, you crazy. Don't come for me right now. Let me finish. I got the mic. I got my 10 minutes. Then you can go in and you can lay it on thick. So, if you really want to get into a specific publisher, study their MO, study their marketing strategies, their release timelines, when they acquire new IPs, all those things. Study the playbook and try to fit in to that club, because they're clubs, right? And try to fit into that club. That's one side of the coin. The other side is, which is what today's world is expecting of you and me. Me and you. You and I. I don't know. Whichever one works for you. You and I, you and me, potato, whatever. I wasn't an English major. So here we go. The expectation, if you're coming in off the streets, is that you understand who it is that you're submitting to. And you understand what that dynamic looks like, what that culture looks like in that studio. Or you've done all the work in advance. You're in brick and mortar. You've sold a few thousand copies in stores. You've generated a buzz. You're starting to get called in by Comic Cons to be a guest. Now they're like, all right, this is an easier conversation. Let's look at it. How many units have you sold? How many brick and mortar locations are you in? You know, what your fan base looks like? What's your email list look like? Okay, we can take that and we can expand on that. We'll merge that with what we have, and we'll take it from here. Those are the only two options, unless you know somebody on the inside, which is the option number 3. Who do you know? Who's going to make that introduction? Who's going to get you to a seat at the table, right? And a lot of times, it's as simple as you go to a comic event and you invite an editor for a drink, for a cup of coffee, whatever it is, and you have a conversation, you pick their brain. and you show sincere interest in them and understanding their expectation of any new IPs that are being submitted to them. Educate yourself. Don't go in half. Everybody thinks they have the best concept. Everybody. You, me, everybody. Jack, Jill went up the hill. Everybody. It is what it is. We think ours is the end all be all. It's okay. But the reality is, these people are in the business of making money. These people understand, when, put it this way. You got a guy who grew up in the ranks, right? You got promoted within the company. He's conformed. He understands the culture. He understands. So he's there. He's the gatekeeper. He's there to protect the integrity of that organization. He's there to make sure that anybody coming in meets a specific criteria that's going to complement what's already established, not detract from it, not create havoc. They want something that's going to assimilate into the culture that they feel that they can market based on their business plan, based on their strategy. So just because you think your stuff is fire, they probably have a fire extinguisher and say, nope, stay back, stay back, stay back. Right? What is it? Pull the pin, aim, squeeze, sweep. Right? Everybody learns that the fire training. Right? So they're sweeping. Get out of here. Get out of here. Right? Be like, but I had a great Kickstarter. That doesn't mean anything. You're not in stores. You're not distributed. Doesn't mean anything. And again, unless you have somebody on the inside, or unless it's nepotism, when you're coming from the outside, you have to make noise. You have to get them coming to you because you're 1 in a million going to them. So they have the luxury of saying, net. And you're like, what's net? Is it not here? Right? Not here. Or in living color, hated it. So don't take it personal. Study the game. The easy ones, they're looking for long term. They're looking for things that's going to grow in time. Things that can cross marketable, right? That can go into other platforms. So my advice to an independent creator out there, all of you, me included, I'm in that boat with you. I'm rowing too. Like, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Why did I choose to be an indie? But anyway, my advice to you is save some money, spend some money, get into stores, make some noise, work your butt off. That means you're getting it into stores. You get picked up by a distributor. Now you have to call the retailers. Don't bank on the fact that the retailers are going to see that little icon with your little summary of your book in a 1,000-page buyer's guide, previews guide. They're not going to, unless you need to call them, unless you bought an ad. You want to expedite and move yourself to the top of the ladder for the retailers to see, get a full-page ad. That costs money. You have to dedicate full days to getting on the phone and calling all the retailers and said, hey, I'm on page this, blah, blah, blah. Can I send you a PDF sample? I'd love for you to order my book for your store, boom, 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 boom. The legwork begins. It's a hustle. It's a hustle. But unfortunately, the market demands that you do the work first before they do anything. And again, the only caveat to this is nepotism. Somebody in the inside. That's it. But if you're an unknown, no one's going to look at you unless you have brick and mortar. No one's going to look at you unless you have a following. So don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. The rejection letters are part of the process. Just get smarter. Study the game. Study who it is that you want to get into. Right? And then, if they have editors from those companies at a convention, take the time to go and meet the editors. Say, hey, yo, if you get a few minutes, can I get you a cup of coffee? I want to pick your brain. This way you separate them from the table, right? Because when at the table, they have a jargon. They have a thing. Everything's on time, right? They're looking at the clock, right? There's a certain amount of people they got to speak to. There's a script that they're playing off of, right? They know exactly when a writer comes up and he doesn't have any artwork with him. They're like, oh, well, you know what? We only look at stuff that's finished. We don't take script submissions. You know that, so don't waste their time, right? So an artist, you go in and it's like, all right, well, you know what, you can leave it with us and we'll get back to you. Because you're 1 in a million. What's going to separate you is your charm, your character, and how you connect with them. Do they find you to be interesting and likable? This is where you got to work on you. So don't be awkward, you comic creator. There's a lot of awkward comic creators out there. Don't be awkward, right? Try to be fun. Try to smile. Don't look like the world is doom and gloom when you go, I got this portfolio. Pep in your step. Get excited, right? Walk like a man, fast as I can, right? Just get some oomph in your step. But don't go with any expectations. This way you don't let yourself down. That's basically it. So what are your thoughts? You think I'm crazy? You think I'm crazy? It's all right. The name of this is The Crazy Intent or Less. You don't have to agree with me, but keep it PC. Let me know your thoughts. What was your experience? How did you break in the game? Did you do anything differently? Tell me. Tell the world. Put it in the comments because other people read those comments and they want to learn as well. So with that said, that's The Crazy Intent or Less. Hey, by the way, did you know I got a Kickstarter? There's a lot of you who backed the first 3 issues who haven't come back yet. There's only 19 days left. Back my Kickstarter. There's nailing on my toilet. Get issue number 4. Issue number 4? Issue number 4. Get issue number 4, and I would certainly appreciate you. New backers, physical, you get a free print. Existing backers, physical, you get an enamel pin. There's a win-win for everybody. And we're so close to unlocking that first stretch goal. So let's do this. With that said, I'm Sam the Crazy Man Vera. This is The Crazy Intent or Less. You guys have a blessed day. Peace.